just to invade everybody's privacy. Let's see, do I have anybody else in the waiting room? Oh, Vivian. All right.
Hey, I had a weird situation come up just a few minutes ago. I don't know if you ever had this. It's on a Flex lead that's closing tomorrow. The seller's signing today. She had her daughter on title. She had her daughter removed from title, and as a result, they lost their homestead exemption. She immediately reapplied for it, but Travis County is really slow getting all those approved. So it screwed up her taxes, and now my client's prorated portion of the taxes is about $800 something more expensive than what it appeared on the.
When did she remove the daughter from?
I don't know exactly, but I guess it doesn't matter too much because title's saying my buyer's portion of the prorated taxes goes up $828 either way.
Well, I'd ask for $800.
Yeah.
All right, Johnny, let's get started.
All right, cool. I'm gonna share my screen. All right. Okay. So today's meeting, the premise is going to be basically you guys are kicking ass with Zillow. And I'm going to show you guys how we're doing there, a little performance update, and some things that we're going to be working on to even increase our sales with the Zillow leads, because quite frankly, they're coming in and we're doing a great job closing them, the conversion. We're one of the top brokerages right now for Zillow Flex in the Austin area. And there are no more agents or brokers able to purchase Zillow leads from here to the end of the year. So here at the end of the year, we are going to be on cruise control to take as many Zillow leads, convert as many Zillow leads. If any agents drop their ad spend on Zillow and an area opens up, we're going to be one of the first ones that Zillow is going to be plugging to try to get those connections. So if we see a ramp up towards the end of the year, that's because other agents didn't do as well converting their Zillow leads and spending money, and they're dropping their ad spend. So right now we're in a really good spot to fine tune our Zillow program. Now that you guys have a pretty good idea on what's happening, I'm working on the back end to learn how you guys are doing with the statistics so that I can help make improvements on there. So I'm going to go over a little bit about that today with you guys. So let me get rid of this little floating screen. Okay, first I want to show you guys this. This is the log transactions. I want to show you this right here first. This is week to week, and I have a Zillow meeting every Friday. Ryan and Sunny join every other Friday. But basically here in August, this is our conversion to market, 163%. We went up 20% in just a week from when everybody was paused a couple weeks ago till when people got unpaused and everybody got.
Johnny, I got to jump on my phone.
Yeah. You guys really ramped up just in the period of a week with 20% increase in your business. And here's kind of from when we started, the monthly targets, our met rate, our meetings. We're really going to be focusing on meeting rates for the conversion. But if you see the meetings here, March, April, May. So let me let Ryan back in. On line 12 and line 14. So in March, we had 13 meetings, which led to, we'll look at it like this, basically 4 transactions or so in April, right? Somewhere between March and April, we had 4 transactions. Between April and May, 4 transactions with 19 meetings. May, 28 meetings. Into June, we had 9 contracts. July, 50 meetings. We've got 8 contracts in July, and a lot of people, stop working in July. So if we follow this trend into August, we're probably going to see even more here and even more transactions. So we'll see how those numbers come out in the next couple of weeks. But I want you guys to see this because we're scaling, we're increasing our business. These are our goals here: the appointment rate, met rate, 45%, offer rate. So I'm going to go to another screen and show you how we're going to more or less apply this a little bit. You guys have any questions on this? Does this make sense? We were pretty excited to see this, like this quick uptick right after Ryan and Sunny, we had our last meeting. We were knowing some things were going to correct themselves, and this was just proof there. a couple people in the waiting room. Okay. So here's where this kind of all comes together. First, I want to show you guys the zip codes that we have. So when we do some one-on-ones, we're going to make sure that you guys are in the zip codes that you want, that you are going to answer the phone, so that when your phone rings from Zillow, you know it's not someone, like if you're in North Austin, you know it's not someone down in Kyle. If you're down in Kyle, you know it's not someone up in North Austin or Round Rock. So we're really going to get tight with your zip codes to make sure you guys have a really good success rate with setting those meetings where you guys want to schedule those meetings, those appointments. So I've highlighted in green, these are our zip codes: 78664, 93 connections. This is down in Kyle, Buda, 61. So these are how many connections we're getting. And over here is the pending and close. So we have 6, and I'll just scroll to the bottom. We have 29 sold Zillow Flex leads so far this year, from starting in March, April. So what I want to show you guys here is this on line 25. So we have 501 total connections. Okay. Our appointment rate is 61%. Okay. So we are meeting with more, we're setting appointments with more than half the people we're talking to. Our appointment goal is 67%. So we're right about there. So more than half the people we're actually scheduling appointments with. But then we look over here at line I, and these are actually how many appointments we're going on. 38%, where we want to see this met rate at 45%. So this is a very big disparity right here in what's hurting our conversion. Although we're doing great, this should be at 45% or even higher. So if we're meeting with more than half the people, we want to be submitting offers with about half of those people. And we're a little bit light there. So we're going to, on my one-on-ones, I'm going to be going in with you guys and figuring out, okay, who you met with, who did you schedule an appointment with, and why did you not meet with them? And who is in your Zillow profile as appointment set that the update or the app needs to be updated with another step, because they may be an appointment set and there's another page. So you guys will have to go in, look at all your people with appointment set or showing homes, whatever those stages are. There's a report that I looked at that I can't pull it up, but there was like 25 people in appointment set stage. And some of those were old, like a month or two or so. And maybe you set the appointment and you're obviously not on an appointment now with them, and it didn't look like there was appointments being set. So change those stages, because that's going to update these numbers. And then when these numbers get updated, Zillow is going to see how much better we're actually doing, so that we can they can increase our connections. Because if they see that we're not converting at our rate here, it could start to affect our connections, but we're going to make sure that doesn't happen. Because then that affects the offer rates. The more people you're meeting with on line K here, this is the percentage of offers that we're sending out. So of the people that we're meeting, 10% of them we're writing offers on. So although there's a little disparity here, and this number is a little bit low, 10.2%, we want the offer rate to be at 15.2% or 15%. And when we get these numbers aligned, our conversion will be at 10%. Right now, our conversion's at 5.8%. So we're doing really, really well with what we'll say like top of the funnel stuff, like people coming in, you guys are communicating quick, you guys are updating the app quick, and then they're moving through the pipeline or through that funnel. Imagine the bottom of the funnel is the contract and close. So, just above that are the people that you're showing appointments to, that you're actually out there. And then everything else you're working to get to the appointment stage. And when you get to the appointment stage, we really want to focus. This is right here. You schedule an appointment. Let's get out there. Let's meet them. Because if you can't get this appointment here, you're not going to be able to write offers, and definitely not going to increase the conversion and the offers. So I want to open up for questions here for a minute after showing you guys this, to see if you guys have any questions on this, feedback about. Who's that? Adrian?
Yeah, I wanted to chime in on something actually. So I have had, and I bring this up because I'm curious if it's unique to me. Sometimes weird things happen. I've had a number of individuals who I have met with primarily these people are virtual, meaning I've done like a FaceTime tour with them, and they're just not serious. They're not in town. They're not like, even whenever I look and I see they're searching, when I like go in to see like, well, are they still looking at a bunch of homes? They're looking all over the place. It's like they're looking in Buffalo, New York. They're looking, and it's just like, I have enough of these people that just, I'm not going to pressure someone into buying a house, right? I show them a couple houses. They're not really moving forward or taking it seriously. So I
Well,
feel
but
like that
Adrian, let
might
me
be
just interject there. So if you're going from, appointment rate to met rate to showing houses, right? So that wouldn't even affect the metric, right? That's what we were talking about. That's not where the disconnect is. So I wouldn't worry about, your 1 offs or 2 offs or 3 offs. We're just talking in general. And then, the other thing I'd say is that like with what they do at Zillow is this is based off of the average of the best, right? And so this isn't like, this has been tested and true. And what they're saying is that if you've got this many answers and this many met rep, then you should get this many appointments. Showing offers. So,
gotcha. That makes sense.
Yeah, don't micro drill it down into,
Okay.
your own situation,
Cool.
because we're just talking in general, right?
Right. Yeah. And there's going to be, so Ryan just kind of spelled out that cadence, you've met, shown appointments, you're writing offers, you're contracted. But if you are meeting them virtual, you go show virtual appointments and they're in New York and they don't know where they're looking, you have to find out and figure out one of two things. One, are you going to nurture them? Is there a potential that you're going to work with them later and you can leave them as nurture? Or two, this is somebody that you're not going to conduct business with and we reject it. And we put it in there. If there's somebody that we're not going to work with, we want to reject that lead. So we can do that. It's not going to hurt our numbers. We don't want those as contacts that we're supposed, because again, if they're nurture, we're going to have people as nurture that, are you working with them or not? Right. Same thing like in follow-up boss. If you're not going to work with them, nurture cold, but with Zillow, at least we can reject them. So contracts, okay, let me minimize my screen thing here. Oh, and so these numbers, guys, every week, these numbers are a little bit skewed because of updates needed in the app. Okay, again, I looked at a spreadsheet that had like 35 people that were appointment met, but you guys aren't actually out showing appointments, homes to 35 people. So those of you that have those, really look at those and figure out what is the next appropriate step? Is it nurture or something else? So we want to move those through the pipeline. Because if we have a database full of appointment met in Zillow, then they're going to see that we're busy showing appointments. And if our calls drop, then our connections drop. So we want to really keep that updated. So y'all go in there and check that out. Now there's more zip codes that we are in that Zillow hasn't produced leads for us. There's probably like 10 more zip codes on the map that I saw. They just don't have any leads in there. So when we look at this, I want to show you guys something here. So this is over the last 30 days. What's interesting is our numbers don't exactly align the last 30 days as our chart does, and that's because of I think part of the time being in July. So, but here's Vivian got called 51 times. She's picked up the phone 47%. You guys can just take a quick look here at where you're at, because your phone's ringing. And this is why I want to make sure that your zip codes are dialed in so that when your phone rings, you're excited to answer it, because Zillow's becoming one of our top lead sources, guys. This is great. So I want to keep converting these.
Hey, Johnny, real quick, man, my pickup rate looks shitty. And I don't know if this is common with everybody else, but like a lot of times if I'll get a call like 8 or 8:30 at night, when I'm chilling out and I'm working with Wyatt or hanging, doing whatever, and then I don't pick it up naturally because I'm spending time with family, and then I'll get one like 2 minutes later, and then another one like 5 minutes later. So my pickup rate gets fucked, but I'm not, you know, and I get them at like 8 in the morning on a Saturday morning, and then another one right after. So I'm never going to pick those up. But then, you know, you'll go the rest of the day and not get them again until like the evening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So part of the problem with that, Dustin, is that they're trying to fill your quota, kind of, if you will.
Yeah.
And if you don't, the more you don't pick up, the more they try to put on you.
Yeah. I mean, it's like that consistent. Like sometimes I'm driving around. I don't want to pick one up while I'm driving around because I'm not, you know, in a position where I can answer questions, and then they'll just come in one right after the other.
So here, we talked about this before, but like, and this is a good point, that if you're driving around and obviously you don't have like someone in the car or whatever, if you pick up and you say, hey, let me just get let me get your name, your number. Okay. And let me get to a place where I'll call you back in just a few minutes. Okay. Then that will count as a answer and an appointment set.
Yeah. Okay.
And then if you meet with them and call them back, that's a met with. So that route on your own will increase your stats. And then the other thing I know from what Todd had told us is that, like, you know, it's an overall thing, right? Like, in other words, you know, he's not just looking at that. He's also looking at, I think you've got like what, 2 or 3 closings with Zillow coming up or happened or whatever.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah. One tomorrow, and then one like a week or two.
So one, you know, it's not based on just your answer rate, but that's how I'd handle that. Hey, you know, you answer the phone. Yeah, I want to see this property right here. Okay, look, I'm about to be in a place where I can pull that up, get that information, and I will call you right back. And then all of a sudden, when you call them back, you can switch it to appointment set and then met with.
Cool.
mm-hmm. Yeah. And Dustin, I mean, that everybody has those scenarios, like they're not gonna be able to answer for one reason or another, right?
Yeah.
And I want you guys to take what Dustin just said to heart for all of you that can't answer the phone in the morning or in the evening. There are agents that are not answering their phones in the morning or in the evenings. 8 o'clock in the morning is a complete appropriate time to answer your phone and make phone calls. So is 8 p.m. or 8:30. If you've got other things to do, like family, kids, wife, things like that, totally fine. You're going to be doing that. So you guys that aren't doing those things that are outside of the real estate business, when those calls come in, just like Ryan said, answer it, no matter what you're doing. Even if you are, take a break. Look, that's the commitment to these programs as well. If you want to be successful in real estate, there are you know, habits that you have to put into place, sometimes sacrifices that you have to put into place. Those that answer their phone in a timely manner, quick, they're going to get the deals. Like here, because here's the thing, like this is why I want to show you guys the numbers. Like, look, you guys answer your phones, the connections and this is why our appointments are so high, because when you answer your phone, you guys are scheduling appointments, and that's not a problem. Answer the phone 1, schedule appointment 2, make it to the appointment. So look at all these appointments here. So where's Dustin? So Dustin, 45%. I mean, we want at 50%. So overall, not bad, right? So like you might feel pain in the mornings or in the evenings, but if you can't get to your phone that time, just make sure the other times a day that you really can. Because like Ryan said, you're going to get another call and another call because they're trying to get you to answer that call. Now, also, lead flow in the morning and in the evenings, what I've seen is greater than what it is in the middle of the day. So be prepared to make calls in the morning and at night, because that's when more leads are actually coming into our system. That's when more people are online searching and looking on stuff. You know, same thing for you guys. I'm sure you do a lot of your online searching when you're not working. So we're going to be working on this individually, looking at a little things so that collectively as a team, we're going to see these things increase. And not even that we're doing it out of necessity, but just doing it to improve our habits and to sell more homes. And then the last part I wanted to bring up is this. Let me see. Yeah, so Follow Up Boss and Zillow right now. So you guys are updating the app in Zillow and keeping those stages updated. But in Follow Up Boss, we're not doing as good a job. Yes, Sunny, cool. We're not doing as good a job as updating and communicating in Follow Up Boss. I know the client is going to reach out to you via the Zillow app. They're going to call you through there, but you guys want to go into Follow Up Boss, update these stages. If somebody texts you in the app in Follow Up Boss, on the app in Zillow, come back into Follow Up Boss and text them here. Get them in your wheelhouse. They can be on the Zillow app searching for homes, and there can be some communication there. But guys, your business operates out of Follow Up Boss. We're tracking, we're looking at all these things. It's a great thing that Zillow has a really good program here for us to track all the numbers. But it's a lot easier for me and us as a brokerage to come in here and see what we're doing collectively with our leads rather than just Zillow. So we have 248 leads in Zillow, which means there's 248 people that we've never connected with. And I know that's not the case because you guys have connected with them. So there's some updates here in Follow Up Boss for Zillow.
Keep in mind, guys, that the Raya, the text bot, is going to be triggered, but depending on the stage. So if you're working with somebody, it's going to be really odd if they're getting, if you're speaking to them every day and they're set as a lead and they're getting Raya text.
Right. Do they go into YLOPO automatically after that, Ryan, or not?
They do.
They do. Yeah. So you guys are going to want to update that. So again, Zillow app, number one, most important thing is to update the stage. You don't have to communicate in there. You don't have to write any notes in there. You don't have to do anything in there except update the stage. That's what's going to directly affect our lead flow. It's helpful to go in there and see some of the notes and do some of that stuff in there, but I know it's difficult operating out of two databases. So try to get some consistency on how you guys are communicating with them, as I'd like to see more of that in Follow Up Boss versus the Zillow app, because this is where just all of our metrics are tracked. So before I hand it over to Sunny for a quick update, I want to turn the floor back over to you guys. Oh, let's see. Adrian says something here. Yeah, I'll let them know. I'll text them from my personal line so they have my direct contact right away and ask them to confirm. It works. Of course, they know they just connected you with Zillow, all right? And they're connected with you on Zillow because they want to talk to a real estate agent. So it's completely okay to ask them for their personal information. Hey, can I verify your phone number, your email address? And I'm going to go ahead and text you or call you from my phone number so that we can communicate directly rather than having to go through Zillow.
Just keep in mind that your phone number is going to be the Follow Up Boss number.
Yeah, be the Follow Up Boss number. So, okay, any other questions, guys? That's pretty much it. I wanted to just show you guys that. I'm going to drill down on this more and more as we're going into one-on-ones and just little things to help with little, pro tips and conversion tricks. But other than that, I just wanted you guys to see that we're doing great. Zillow's impressed with us. Our numbers are fine with them, and they just want us to be open for opportunities. If they see us getting bogged down in the pipeline stuff, it's gonna be harder for them to send us new leads because we're bogged down in the pipeline stuff. So we're not bogged down, but that's why I'm doing this, so you guys can just see that we can keep these things updated.
I have a question.
Yep.
Yes. So I have a question about when we get to closing or closer to closing. There are instructions in Zillow about, their closing instructions. So is that something that
just about to go over that actually?
Okay. Do we do that? Do you do that? Okay. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, actually, Johnny, does anybody else have any questions for Johnny or? No. Cool. Okay, well, I had asked Johnny if I could hop in real quick and go over just a couple of things exactly pointing towards what Joey was talking about. So while Johnny just mentioned that, the most important thing in Zillow was to update the status of the lead. And while that is critically important, there is one other thing that really kind of is critical and has to be done for everybody to, close deals and get paid in the end. So we've talked about this before. I think you guys have all gotten pretty good at entering the transaction information in Zillow. So once you do get something under contract, make sure that you're going in under that lead. There's a tab called transactions and entering the transaction data. Everybody seems to be doing a pretty good job there. Can I share my screen real quick? Yeah. I wanted to share one other step though. Once it's time to close, and you know that your price is set, meaning like maybe you've gotten through your option period, so you know that there's not going to be, or that it's not likely to have price adjustments anymore or anything like that. You're kind of, we're kind of locked in on what the final sales price would be, and you've updated that information in Zillow under the transaction information. You'll see here, and I'm showing you guys some screenshots here. So you'll see here when, like if you're on your desktop version, it looks kind of like this, but you click under reports, you can go to payments. If you're on the app, it looks more like this. You can go over to transactions, but you can click view details, and then you can see preview payment form right there. If you can click that, download it, and send it to Errol, because Errol is managing everybody's transactions that are Zillow leads, right? Because we went over that a couple weeks ago. So we want to make sure that Errol's managing all those transactions for you. If you could just download this form and send it to her, because we need to, it makes the payment process flow a lot easier with Zillow if we have that form, and the title company is able to send that in with the form, and then they don't call me looking for the money. So that is the only step. If anybody has any questions on how to do that, let me know. It should be pretty easy. But again, the process being, you'll you enter the transaction information as soon as you go under contract. At some point before you get to the closing, but we know that the sales price is final and set. Go and update all that information, make sure it's correct. Click preview payment form, and it's a PDF. We don't have to have it signed. Don't worry about that. Download it and send it to Errol, and we'll do the rest from there. Does that answer your question, Joey?
Yeah.
And super impressive on these numbers, because like I said, I haven't been on the calls with Johnny in a couple of weeks now, and so I had gotten really used to them when I was on it every week, but these are super impressive.
Yeah, they showed us a list of who's in town, and we're like, we're at the top. So
yeah, we are.
And we got a lot of connections.
Awesome.
They see us as they see us as a high conversion team, and like, you know, we're 164% of our goal, right? So that's what they're looking at. When we drill it down, we can see how there's room for improvement, but overall, they're like, shit, you guys are doing great. So that's why that's why you guys keep getting calls. Stephanie, you're unpaused. I meant to do that yesterday. Sorry, you're unpaused now. Trey, you're unpaused. I think there's still a couple people that are paused. Let me see real quick who I got that's paused. Pavla, Jason, Joey, you're paused. Karen, you're paused.
You can unpause me.
Karen, you're unpaused.
No.
Sarah's paused. And that's it. So you guys, shoot me a message. I want to schedule with you guys, start scheduling some one-on-ones on this for probably 15, 20 minutes each. Go into this a little bit, just give a couple tips on things to work on. So if you guys don't mind hitting me up individually, because some of you guys already have scheduled in the books, but if I don't, just hit me up, and then I'll send you my calendar and we'll get a little meeting in the books. That's all I got. You guys have any feedback? Was that helpful? Anybody?
That was helpful.
Cool. Okay. Oh, Lauren, check out the I got a lead, what's next page. On the front, it has a bunch of bullet points. On the back, it has the definitions of all of the stages, the lead, nurture, cold. Sunny, you're muted.
Did you get one of those, Lauren, the laminated thing? The leads cheat sheet?
I think that I just got it emailed over. I don't have the laminated sheet, but I'm pretty sure Jeremy and
That's
Johnny
fine.
have sent me all of that stuff before.
Cool. If you're in the office ever and you want one of the laminated versions to have on your desk, or when you're working on leads, I've got some.
Okay, awesome.
Joey, you have something?
Yeah, I have a quick question about the stages and follow-up boss. You said not to use some of those. Are we still at that point where we're only using Okay. just
Yeah,
making
Follow
sure.
Up Boss put a bunch of stuff in there. If they're your personal leads, I mean, you can do whatever you want. As a company, we don't have any classification for 8 of those.
Okay.
Definitely 8 of those things. I mean, if it's a potential buyer, guys, it's a buyer. What are you going to do differently if it's a potential buyer versus a buyer? Like, right? Or nurture them. Because they're not going to be a buyer forever. Again, they move in and out of the pipeline. So, they could be a buyer today, or a hot nurture today, a hot prospect tomorrow, and then back to nurture. If someone's active, like if someone's active and they're looking at a whole bunch of homes and I know I need to follow up with them for the next 2 or 3 days, I'll set them as hot prospect so that I see them in front of me. This is someone I need to get a hold of. I need to figure out what's next. I need to move them out of the pipeline. They've been super active. What's next, right? So it's either a buyer or a nurture from that point.
Can I ask one thing? So something that's been coming up more often for me lately is meeting with people, and then they've already seen a bunch of homes that they've connected with other agents on Zillow to see. And I know how to get past that, but it just seems like the way it's set up, we should be having that as our lead for, like it says, you're their agent for the next few months or whatever. But yet when they go back and look at another property and click tour, they get another agent. Is that how it's supposed to work?
If they're locked into you and they come back in, they'll go to you. But if a lot of times, like, I think you've got to accept that you're their agent and they have to accept that they're working with you as their agent for it to go to you all the time. Because there are,
because that's what I wasn't understanding. Because it says in the app, you're their agent for like a couple months, but to be their agent for 6 months, then that has to happen. But if that's not the case, then I at least know that moving forward.
Yeah, because at least for the flex leads, they're not supposed to go anywhere else other than you while you're working them.
I can speak to that a little bit. So what happens is if you take a live call, as soon as you get off that call, Zillow sends the client a my agent request. And so I forewarn people now, but if the client declines your my agent request, then you can't see anything of what they're looking at and you're no longer their agent. So then if they do call back into Zillow, then that's why it would go to somebody else. So Zillow did not used to automatically send the my agent request, but they do. And then some people will just decline it right away. And so then you are just basically blocked out of looking at any of their, their searching. And then it's just kind of a disservice, but it's just the way Zillow is now.
I mean, I had one this past weekend where I met him. We toured a property, and then he was going to meet another agent to tour another property right after that, and a third agent that evening to tour another property, which just seemed kind of crazy to me. But luckily, the second agent demanded he sign a loyalty agreement before she showed him the property. So now he's working with me.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing too about the great thing about these Zillow connections and leads is that they're asking for an appointment. And that's the whole goal of prospecting, is to get an appointment. What you do next is you got to be better than everyone else out there. Because if they're coming in from Zillow, they have no loyalty. That's why they're not going to claim you as their agent from the first bat. They don't care who you are. They just want to go look at a house, right? So you get out there. That's why bring the ABS, the loyalty agreement, show them you're a professional. You can help them. You have a plan for them. You're not going to force them into doing anything, but just try to be better than those next agents and know that they're going to encounter another agent somewhere along the lines and be prepared for that. We can go into these objection handlers. Again, we know there's a lot of agents in Austin, so we'll work on those. It's a little bit different when you're in person than it is on the phone, but at least that's much better rapport building when you're in person. Anything else, guys? We can adjourn. That was it. All right. Well, we'll end our meeting. You guys have a great day. See you later.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.